Let's talk about Roots of War, and let me help you guys out to succeed in Call of Dragons Alliance versus Alliance event. This Roots of War event is occurring bi-weekly. Now, there is the rules in here. I want you guys to take a quick look into this one. Mainly, the most important thing to understand before you get started with Roots of War, you need to understand how your alliance can qualify. To qualify, you must be in the top 20 within your server. When the registration opens, players can take part in the Roots of War through their current alliance. You cannot take part in the same round of Roots of War if you move to a new alliance. Players who have joined the alliance after registration opens cannot join their alliance team or receive rewards for the Roots of War. So just keep that in mind. If you join after the registration, you're not going to get the rewards. When the registration ends, the alliance team roster will be locked and cannot be changed. Now, the management of the players in here, there will be 30 combatants. All right, 30 people who will sign up, and then there will be 10 substitute players who are going to be able to enter the game if the main players cannot enter. Now, the players must meet the requirement of having a level 16 city in here. Now, before you enter into the battlefield, this is the biggest tip that we're going to be giving you in here, because if you do this incorrectly, you're going to be stuck and you cannot enter the game. Make sure that you don't have any legions outside the map, and you got to make sure that you're not in war frenzy mode. So don't scout anybody, don't battle anybody. Make sure that all your legions are back home within your city. There's no march outside. Now, the severely wounded in your hospital doesn't have any effect. It doesn't matter if your hospital is filled. It will be okay. You can still enter the Roots of War battlefield. So the main concept in here is that the buildings are going to open once you enter the Roots of War, and then you're also going to try to capture the life stone, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Now, you're probably wondering, how can I get our members to participate in the Roots of War? Well, you have to really ask everyone within your alliance. So this is something that our alliance have done. They have sent out a decree and making sure that everybody reads it, and there's different times in here where you can either check or X. So you can definitely use our template in here if you want to copy what we do. So this is something that our leadership is really good at organizing. So as a leader with your alliance, you need to be organized, send Discord notifications as well to players who wants to take part and gather all this information. And you got to hold these people accountable also whenever they signed up, because if they don't show up, that does mess up the teams. All right, so now let's talk about how do you build the team in here. Now, when you are going to play this game, Roots of War, you need to have a good understanding on how the map is. So what do you need to do in here? What you need to do is you need to build a team that will be the rally team and also the garrison team, and then an open field team. Now, the rally team will really depend on your alliance and as well as the garrison team, depending on the whales that you have. One whale can potentially cover the garrison team and as well as the rally team as well. They can be in one structure and also setting up a rally for one player. So if you have multiple whales, you can divide and conquer. I will give you an example. In my situation when we first played, I was the one who rallied one of the hulls and I captured it. And after capturing it, I also garrisoned it with my cabs. So I was both captain and as well as garrison. Now, if I had another march, maybe I had an infantry like that is a max out, then I can also garrison one of our base that are closer to us, which at that point we were at Lucia, so we were onto the top side of the map in here. And then another thing that you should be doing is to build a open field team that are mainly focused on fighting in the open field, so your garrison will not get overrun, or your rally when you're making push will not get overrun as well. It's more of a supporting for the garrison as well as into the rallies. Now, to gain alliance points to win, you need to capture these buildings, in which we're going to talk about more in detail later on. Now, let's talk about the lifestone. This is one of the most important part of the game. 1 minute before the lifestone appears, it will indicate to you within the system notification that the lifestone will either appear from the middle to the top or to the south in here. Now, when that happens, you need to send your flying units team to capture the lifestone. The reason why you're using the flying unit, because you can bypass any obstacles. You can just fly over those, I guess those are falls or river, but you're going to be able to do that with using the flying unit. This is kind of like a little bit of a broken system, because the flying unit will have to go and kind of just do a shortcut in here within the game. And I believe with the flying units, you cannot also intercept a flying unit. So I think it's a bit broken right now with what the system has. I mean, maybe the developers didn't really think this through on how they have built the Roots of War. So whenever you capture a live stone, you are going to gain 3,000 points, and the player will only receive 300 points. Just keep that in mind. You're not getting a lot of points as an individual. So how do you win Roots of War? Well, you need to win Roots of War by capturing the buildings. And you'll also need to capture limestone. So the limestone will give you 3,000 points. Remember, the buildings will give you per hour, which we're going to review in a little bit. There is the halls. There is going to be Tree of Courage. These will also give you some buff. So the buildings will also give you some buff. Just keep that in mind. The halls, you can capture the halls. All right. Capturing the halls will grant your alliance a large number of points. When you capture a Tree of Courage, it will increase your attack of the alliance and defense for all the members. If you capture the Tree of Healing, it will increase the elixir production and as well as HP for all the team members. And when you capture the Outpost, it will expand your alliance field of view as well as granting some points. So this is, of course, it's an outpost, right? It allows you to see further within the map. So it really helps you out, especially if you're the leadership, and kind of helps you out to make some calls within the battlefield. There's also the Lonam Bride pools. This is like just gathering resources pretty much. So let's go into the other rules in here. When you deliver limestone, as I said, 3,000 alliance points, 300 player points. Hall will give you 750 and 150 per minute when you're occupying it, and 115 per minute for the player. So once you capture the hall or whatever building, if you stay inside those buildings, you are going to earn points per minute. So you have to be inside for you personally to earn points per minute as a player. But here's the thing. The most points that you're going to get as a player is going to be from the battlefield. So you need to fight so you can get a lot of points. If you just stay inside, you're not going to get a lot of points to finish the event. So I really recommend that you take a quick look into the scoring rules in here. As you can see, if you're attacking, you're going to get 80 in here onto the points per 10,000 power. And then per 10,000 power as a defending, you get 40 as well as field. So if you're launching the rally attack, you're actually getting more. So if you do a lot of rallies, you're going to get a lot of points. So you'll see this with the whales. They're going to be the one who's going to accumulate points really quick. Now, let's talk about the rewards. Regardless of whether you win or you lose, you are going to get some rewards. As you can see in here, winning alliance will receive this, 200 gems. Losing alliance will get 100 gems. All team members will also receive it, even if you don't participate. Now, if you did really good and you scored 10,000 points or more, you are going to get the first place in here as a winning alliance, 10 tokens, 10,000 Legion reserves. And then if you lose, though, you're going to get 500 gems, 5 tokens, and then 2 of the 2,000 Legion reserves. So 4,000 reserves there. So as you can see, even if you lose, you're going to get some rewards. So it's pretty nice. I do recommend that you guys participate with this event every 2 weeks because it's only like 1 hour of your time, but you're going to get a lot of value from this event. Just make sure that you perform here into the battle sync and sync your heroes and build the talent tree before you guys get started. So for me, I have my talent tree set up already in here as well. You can also import if you would like. So, there's a lot of things that you can, do to prepare yourselves. And you can also check within your artifacts as well. They're all levels maxed out. Your policies as well. It depends on what season you are in. It will increase, right? As you can see. All right. Now about the elixir in here within the Roots of War, you cannot really use the elixir that you accumulate in your server. There is going to be an allocated elixir that you can only use within the Roots of War. And one of the things that will help significantly for the elixir is your capture of the Tree of Healing. This will increase the amount of elixir produced within the gameplay. Now, let's go and discuss more of the other rules in here that are quite important that many of the players have an understanding. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the content that we're making, don't forget to subscribe, turn the notification on, help us out to grow here in Call of Dragons. and share this video to your team members. And if you really find it very helpful, please let me know in the comment section below how well did I do in this video on teaching you guys about Roots of War. I appreciate it if you guys will do. Commenting into our video definitely helps the algorithm for Call of Dragons. One more thing, I just want to know, how far did this video reach? Where are you from? Now, let's go and discuss this. All right. So, units cannot die in Roots of War. So, just keep that in mind. If you fight in Roots of War, whatever units that gets wounded there stays wounded in Roots of War only. When you go back to your home server, you're not going to have to worry about it. And there's no limit. Just read some of the rules in here as well. All right, field of view, there's going to be fog. This is why the outpost is quite important as well to capture, so that you can have some visibility, and some of the flying units can add visibility as well. Now, I did mention earlier, when you're trying to capture the limestone, right, that you want to use a flying unit. Technically, you want to use a flying unit so that you can kind of evade players if they're overrunning you. You can just fly over the obstacles, but you can actually still use a land unit and capture through one of the trees in here, which is one of the tree of healing. You can actually go there by using a land unit as well. So that is also an option, but it has the potential of getting intercepted if there is enemies there. So just keep that in mind for that. Now, let's talk about the behemoths. So you can only summon 3 behemoths in the Roots of War. It will be in increments. All right. Now, I believe it's going to be Hydra. Is it Bear, or is it yeah, Hydra, Bear, I think, and then Dragon. So those are the behemoths that you can summon at this time, and things can change later on, of course. Alliance can only summon 1 behemoth at a time. Also, keep that in mind. Now, the scoring, this is quite important actually to understand. When I first played the game, I didn't really, kind of understood what was going on. I just knew I had to get the limestone and collect it. All right, so let me explain these to you. Now, players and alliance score points first time they occupy the building. So we had that first occupation discussion earlier. So that's the main thing to gain a lot of points, is the first occupation, and then succeedingly you will be gaining more points per minute. But the big dash is the first occupation. So if the more first occupation you do, kind of sets you up in a good lead. Now, second thing, player scores points by defeating enemy units but not gaining in the alliance score. Now, the limestone, this is an important thing to note in here, especially for the leadership. When the limestone appears, you have 15 minutes to deliver it to a destination. So if you don't deliver it within 15 minutes, it's going to reset. Now, 1 minute later, a new limestone will appear at the random limestone pedestal if you don't collect it within 15 minutes. So sometimes there's players who will try to delay it, or if just the battle is just really insane, your carrier keeps dying and it keeps dropping, and then it goes back and forth, which happens within the game. Now, here's the thing: if you deliver the limestone to a lumberbite pool, it will be dropped and can be picked up by others. So if you want to drop your limestone, you have to go into the resource pool. Now, if you deliver the limestone to a safe zone, it will respawn at the original limestone pedestal shortly after without granting your team points. So you don't want to send your carrier into your safe zone, which is here, right? You would want to actually just go into the captured buildings to the nearest one. All right. And by the way, as I'm watching this, I just realized that Yan is actually a bit of a bigger map or bigger territory than Lucia. Am I going crazy, or it's what it looks like in here? Or maybe I'm just not looking at it at the back view and the thing is covering it. But anyway, it looks a little bit bigger to me. So now, once you have successfully delivered a limestone, one of your team's building or a neutral building to score large points, each limestone is successfully delivered. The number of points both teams can gain from the next succeeding delivery will be increased. So they didn't really specify the increase in here. I don't have the calculation, but as you can see there, the next limestone that you deliver will increase the point. So you can kind of come back, right? You can come back if the point system is quite close in the battlefield. Now, there are restrictions. I would recommend that you guys read this. I'm not going to read this, but I did mention a few important things that make sure no legions are outside, not in war frenzy. Those are key important situations. Just remember, when you are in the Roots of War, you get like a shield, and you will not be able to deploy any units outside. Now, just keep in mind as well to familiarize with yourself with killing into the field. Every 10,000 power will equal to 40 points. So if you kill T5 players, they're technically more power. You can gain points faster in that sense. So with that being said, I think we've given you guys some great tips here for Roots of War. I will be publishing some of my battles for Roots of War for our alliance. We've won 2-0 right now. So yeah, please do make sure to turn your notifications on so that you're not going to miss out on the next upload for Call of Dragons. And of course, don't hesitate to join our Discord as well so that you can get notified in the system of Discord as well. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know where you're from. I'll see you guys again next time. And great job for watching until the end, finishing it up. Thank you.